Welcome everybody to eCapital's webinar for January PBCS updates. Today we're going to be walking you through Oracle's release schedule for the January updates. Before we jump into the new enhancements for January, I just want to give you a brief introduction to eCapital for those of you who may be new to our webinar series. At eCapital Advisors, we're really focusing on building long-term strategic relationships with our clients, really taking that commitment to service far beyond just a technical solution. We're dedicated to ongoing excellence and really want to help our clients feel empowered and enabled to really trust and understand the technology that they're implementing. We are established over 80 employees across 14 states in the U.S., 25 million in revenue and growing, over 300 global customers in the past 20 years, and more than just EPM capabilities as well. So also include business analytics, implementations and upgrades, a lot of training opportunities, advisory services, and road mapping activities as well. Here are some of our most recent clients across a variety of industries, just to give you a little bit of a taste of our past client relationships and where a lot of our different projects lie from an industry perspective. And then here's kind of our overall NASCAR slide, just a variety of eCapital customers throughout the years as well. So a lot of those you'll find on there should look pretty familiar, a lot of large companies. Again, really focusing on a large gambit of technical solutions across the board there. As a reminder, my name is Ryan Kohler. I'm a manager in the EPM practice at eCapital Advisors. I've been doing this webinar for over a year now with my trusty colleague, Bob Ussett, also a manager on the EPM practice. We both have a great passion for the PBCS tool and overall the cloud Oracle strategy as we move forward. So we love bringing you guys the webinar series, kind of giving you a taste of what's new. Bob will be unable to join today's webinar, so I'll be rolling through this solo today, but certainly can expect Bob to make his triumphant return in a future webinar here. As a reminder, the goal of our PBCS monthly webinars is really to take each month the release guide that Oracle sends out, really take some time to review that, test some of the new features out, so that you as clients of ours or partners of ours can come to this webinar and leave the webinar really feeling educated and having a good understanding of what was included in that most recent release, so that you're then able to jump into your PBCS application and really feel like you're knowledgeable enough to get in there and really use some of that new functionality, or also understand maybe some changes in how they would impact your current application. So as always, we're going to give you a brief introduction to PBCS as a whole, just in case we do have some new people on the call today. Then we're going to go ahead and walk through the new features and then any specific support updates that have been referenced in the release readiness guide as well. So what is PBCS? This is Oracle's subscription-based planning budgeting cloud service. It offers an end-user community a simplified interface to easily navigate through their application, jump back and forth between data input forms, standard reporting, dashboarding, all of that, all those different elements that really make up a complete planning solution for your organization. Some options of why it would be important to choose PBCS, and also just Oracle Cloud in general. When we think about this, just a lot faster of innovation cycles here. So you no longer will require the need to actually go through a formal upgrade like you would today in an on-prem instance. Those of you who have been through upgrade projects, they can be long and tedious and not exactly the most exciting type of work. Now that everything is kind of moving to the cloud in a streamlined fashion, you really get the latest and greatest push to your instance seamlessly, which can really lead to that faster innovation. With that, you also have some options for faster deployment. So, depending on whether you choose the standard or enterprise edition of PBCS, you do have some pre-built modules at your disposal that can kind of help streamline, the development around some of these instances when you talk about, workforce planning or CapEx planning for a couple of examples there. Obviously lower cost, I think that's pretty self-explanatory there. As we start to move more to the cloud, we no longer need the ability to, purchase our own hardware, go through patching exercises, have a security team, in-house that really monitors job scheduling activities and things of that nature. So really kind of making sure that your application and the services around those applications are up and running at all times is a huge benefit there. And also, that lower risk kind of leads into that discussion as well. I think the guaranteed system availability and reduced administrative burden is a huge benefit to evaluate PBCS and want to move to the cloud there. I will just throw a pitch out there too. Don't forget about EPBCS, which I did mention a little bit in that recent slide. That's really just the enterprise edition, and that's really going to bring you, some pre-built modules. So traditionally, looking at a financials module, which is your standard, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, all that good stuff, as well as a projects module, workforce module, and CapEx module. And just recently, 6 to 7 months ago, they rolled out a strategic modeling module that comes with EPBCS as well, and that's really trying to move and take that Hyperion Strategic Finance on-prem tool and kind of move it into the cloud, and really have that S-based backend for some seamless integration there, which I know we've received a lot of good feedback on so far. Whether you choose, the standard edition or the enterprise edition, do want to just point out you will always have the ability to leverage the SmartView Excel add-in, which I know, the finance community really likes to stay in Excel. This is a great option for your organization to leverage the Microsoft Office suite with PBCS or EPBCS to, input all of your data as you see fit, run calculations, and most importantly, out of Excel, run some of that ad hoc analysis, which is a huge benefit of the tool. So, after giving a little bit of a background of PBCS and EPBCS as a whole, now I think it's time to kind of jump into the January release. So, what we're seeing here is, definitely a smaller overall release schedule here this month or this go around. There's kind of some announcements there. As a review, our monthly update schedule, we hit our test environment on January 5th and moved into production on January 19th. So just an FYI there on some of the timing around these implementations of the releases this month. As always, you get a few weeks there to kind of test out the enhancements that are coming down the pipeline before they hit your production environment. So this first feature of the January release is the relocation of identity domains. So what this is really getting at is if you have multiple instances of PBCS or EPBCS, and maybe there was a large time frame between the implementations of both of those instances and they're actually on different domains, Oracle is now allowing you to submit requests to get those applications on the same domain. So where this comes in handy from a performance standpoint especially is when we think about sharing data and sharing objects across instances, if that data set is on the same domain, you're going to see those processes perform much better. And so I think that's truly the reason that they're targeting this enhancement for January as a whole. I will point out that this note was explicitly included on the release notes, just explaining that you can only relocate an environment if it was provisioned or created after May 1st of 2016. So if you had a PBCS application that you subscribed to before May 1st of 2016, currently Oracle is saying that they cannot be unified to use only one identity domain. So more to come on that, but that is kind of the basics of this enhancement or this feature for January as it sits today. So just keep that in mind if you do have multiple instances of PBCS or EPBCS. I think definitely some good information to know here. The next feature here, really more from a functional standpoint, we've covered the job scheduling ability kind of start to finish before in prior webinars. This specific enhancement, Oracle has actually rolled out 3 new schedulable job types, and they actually, 2 of them relate to ASO cubes and 1 relates to BSO. So that first one there, the restructure cube, you can now schedule data restructures. So you can actually eliminate or reduce fragmentation in a database by kicking off a restructure. So you can now schedule those via this interface, which is definitely a nice enhancement. The next one being around the compact outline command. So that's really getting at ASO cubes, so your reporting cubes. And what the outline compaction will do is it essentially will keep the outline the optimal size. So as additional activities are hitting that ASO database, if you don't run a compact outline command for some time, that outline will continue to grow and grow and grow, thus eventually impacting performance. So I can recall on clients where we've had ASO cubes from an on-prem perspective, we would definitely have this run once a week, just to make sure that ASO outline would stay that optimal size. So good to know that we have this option in the cloud now as well. The third new schedulable job type is also related to ASO, and this is the ability to merge data slices. So ultimately, fewer data slices improves performance. And one thing here that's beneficial is you can also remove cells that have no data within that ASO cube. So overall, 3 new schedulable job types, all revolving around performance increases in your application. So clearly, Oracle is trying to help us out here and provide the ability to automate some of these performance-related jobs as we see fit. Moving on to the next item on the release notes for January here. So we've been seeing this one for some time now, kind of preparing for it, but January 2018 is when the standard interface support has officially been removed. So I think by this point, everyone's using that simplified interface already, but just an FYI there that officially now the standard interface, the support around that has been officially removed from Oracle's perspective. And again, we've been kind of harping on this one for a while, so I think those of us who are using PBCS already, hopefully, you've fully embraced the simplified interface, as I know we have. The next enhancement or release note item on the January release is actually more around documentation. So Oracle has continued to invest time in kind of beefing up the documentation that they have at your disposal within PBCS and EPBCS. So this is kind of a reminder of some of the enhanced documentation that they have, specifically around the getting started guides. So they have these kind of in different categories, which is nice. So they kind of have a getting started guide that's more focused from an end user perspective, and they also have a getting started guide from kind of an administrator perspective. So 2 different perspectives there, but those 2 different point of views can really help guide you in the right direction, depending on your role and how you interact with that application. Sticking with the documentation theme and overall kind of presentation theme of the tool itself, this is also kind of more of a reminder line item on the release notes, and it's specifically around the Oracle Cloud Customer Connect. So as a reminder, this is a great place to go check out new release info for not only PBCS but a variety of Oracle Cloud products, upcoming events and seminars and conferences around Oracle Cloud, and also some nice handy Q&A forums. So really a good area where they have a lot of different forums kind of consolidated nicely. So quickly find questions and find answers around those questions for a variety of Oracle Cloud products here. So a reminder there, if you haven't checked that out already, would strongly encourage you to give it a shot. I think there's certainly some helpful information on there. Documentation sure does seem to be the theme this month. So this was another line item on the release notes here for January. And so Oracle is definitely welcoming, comments and suggestions to try to improve and enhance their documentation as they move forward with trying to make these tools and products as easy as possible for the end users and also the administrators. So if you are reviewing any of the getting started guides or some of the helpful, technical reference guides that are available via PBCS, and you feel like there's some items that are unclear, Oracle is certainly asking you and recommending that you submit feedback to this email address here that's listed in your January release notes. So again, a very light release here this January as we kick off 2018, but did want to touch on a couple support update items as well. So we did finally get the date for the classic dimension editor and when that will be officially sunsetted from a support standpoint. So it sounds like February 16th is when you'll go to this new enhanced classic dimension editor, which has been available for over 6 months now. Really a nice enhancement, kind of giving you more of a smart view look and feel. So I think those of you who already have PBCS are helping to administer your PBCS instance within your organization. I'm sure you're certainly already using this new enhanced dimension editor and kind of have moved away from that classic version. So this is really more of a reminder at this point that February 16th, that's going to be really the last, or when the official date will be for sunsetting that classic dimension editor. Along those same lines, I know we've kind of gone back and forth on this quite a bit, but the Financial Reporting Studio desktop client, it was actually supposed to be discontinued some time ago, but it sounds like they've kind of extended that support. So now officially the date they're throwing out is April 20th. So again, similar to some of these other support items that we've touched on today, I'm sure if you've already been a user of PBCS for some time, you're already leveraging the latest and greatest. But just a reminder that, moving forward, definitely encourage you to use the reporting web studio now. That's accessible, via, the web now instead of using your client. And it's essentially, again, as a reminder, pretty much exactly the same. So really anything you can do on that client version, you can do on the web. And just FYI, April 20th is kind of when that will be sunset there as well. So, again, we kind of took some time today to walk through the January release. Although it was a light release, we will continue to release these webinars on a monthly basis, whether they're large, medium, or small, just to make sure that we're providing the most value that we can to our clients in the PBCS community. So we certainly encourage you to stop by next month as we go through the same process to review the February release notes. With that, do want to mention that all of our prior kind of archive versions of release readiness webinar series is available on our website as well. So feel free to register and subscribe to updates so that you can go back and watch not only the full broadcast, but you can kind of pick and choose some key features, and you'll find that we have some of these videos kind of chopped into more digestible formats. Do also want to point out that we went through the top list of 2017, which is also available on our website. So feel free to go out there and see, Bob and I's favorite 10 enhancements for 2017 and kind of understand how you can use those with your organization. So with that being said, it looks like we actually do not have any questions for the January release. Understandable, it was quite the light release. But again, we hope to hear from you next month and look forward to the February PBCS release schedule. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it.